Qalb. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa salatu wa salam Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabi man wala. So we have the word qalb. Qalb comes from the verb qalaba. Qalaba means to turn, like to change. Qalaba means to turn something and to change. When you think about the heart, we're not speaking about the physical heart. You're speaking about the spiritual heart. Maybe you can even say the emotional heart. So when you use words associated with the heart, what type of feelings does the heart have? Like if you just use like words that the heart, what type of feelings can the heart have? Okay, happy, sad. It's more like the heart can have love. The heart can have attachment. The heart can have longing. The heart can feel closeness. The heart can have hopes, all of these things. The heart can have enjoyment, pleasure. The idea behind the heart is that the heart is almost like I almost think of it like a torch. Like you're walking in the dark. Where you point your torch to what you see. So if you point your torch there, you can't see here. You with me? So the heart is a bit like that. Like it has like a torch. It has like a focus area. And if your focus area is here, it's often difficult to get your focus area somewhere else because your heart is pulled in a certain direction. And one of the biggest challenges I believe Muslims have is we have a heart-mind disconnect. A heart-mind disconnect. Meaning what? Mentally and verbally we say Allah is the one that I love and the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the one that I love, but experientially the love of the heart is actually directed somewhere else. And so what do we have is that we have a disconnect because the mind knows what it's supposed to love, what it's supposed to be attached to. It knows this, but it has a disconnect. And this disconnect is difficult to deal with because it's hard to be in two worlds. Like mentally you know I must be there, but your heart is attached here. And so one of the challenges we have is that if we have a disconnect, then we're not really moved by Islam. There's no emotion to it. There's compliance, but there's no emotion. You with me? There's compliance. I'll make my salah, I'll check the boxes, but there's no emotion. There's no longing to be close to Allah Ta'ala. There's no longing to connect to Him. There's no intensity in the relationship. It's just compliance, and if we're honest, often like a grudging compliance. Like I have to finish my things so I must finish the things I must do to do the things I want to do. And I think that is difficult. And what is more difficult sometimes is that even in the spaces one must feel, one doesn't feel. And so you might find yourself, okay, I'm listening to Quran and I actually don't feel anything. I'm actually waiting for lunchtime. You with me? Or I'm listening to Hadith, I don't feel anything. Or you might even find yourself doing an Umrah. And you can Umrah and like everybody talks about how Umrah changed your life and you don't feel anything. You're like, okay, it's like nice. But I wonder what coffee they have there around the corner. I wonder what specials they have in the mall. You with me? You'll be there, but you're not really there. And so this disconnect is something which I feel is the real struggle. The real struggle is to identify what is your heart really attached to. But to first identify what it's really attached to, and then also like assess, is it good that I'm so attached to that? And so what do hearts normally get attached to? Heart gets attached to people. And obviously there's like a normal emotional love between a husband and wife, and a normal emotional love between child and father and child and mother, and parent and child. I'm not saying you can't have that attachment. That is almost within the ambit. But sometimes people's heart can get attached to the wrong person. The person not supposed to be attached to. And that is very damaging for a person's thing. What else does the heart get attached to? Things. Hearts get attached to dunya, to things, to wealth, to objects, to cars, to houses, to furniture, to objects. And sometimes it gets so attached to the object that the object becomes the goal. You with me? I want that and I'm working towards it, I'm pushing towards that, and it becomes the goal. The heart also gets attached to what?
Money.
Money, yes. What else? Also for the men especially, sports teams. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy a game to watch. You know what I mean? You can enjoy a game, you can support a team. But sometimes the heart gets so attached that if the team loses, your days, you're moody. And if the team wins, you're happy. And then you put the team sweater on your chest. And you put the team label on your head, on your heart, and on your car, and on your wall. And it absorbs your identity. Just think about it, most logos are where? On your head and on your heart. Just imagine the symbolism behind that. I'm prepared to put someone else's logo on my head and on my heart. And most of the time it's going to be your colonizers, but anyway, it's a different discussion. Most of the time it's your colonizers, that's your story. I don't do that, but you say I'm a good colonial slave, mashallah. I respect my colonizers, yes, we love you, we watch you, we adore you, we marvel about you, we talk about you, we spend our money for your logos on our head and our heart, but that's your own business. I don't know why I do that. I'd rather support stormers and colonize you local, yes, alright. Now think about it. The Quran is here to make you think about it. And so, and sometimes also your heart can be over-invested in the relationship, and that's different. There's a hadith. The hadith is weak, but it's a beautiful hadith. It says, "Ahbib habibak hawnan ma, asa yakuna baghidak yawman ma, wa aghbid habibak yawman ma, asa an yakuna habibak yawman ma." It says, love your beloved moderately, for perhaps one day your beloved will become your enemy. And hate your enemy moderately, for one day your enemy might become your beloved. And so no one keeps the wedding photos after they're divorced. You with me? It's like in relationships even, there's going to be tests, but the tests can't upend your life completely. They'll be difficult, but they can't upend your life completely. Why? Because your first relationship must be with Allah. If it's all invested in the relationship goes wrong, and then you can't live anymore and all of those things, it's a sign that there's an imbalance. Not saying it's not difficult, it's incredibly difficult. I'm just saying it's a sign. And so one of the things that we're battling for, especially first year, second year, we're battling for heart space. Because the mind space, I think we mostly agree. We can mostly recognize something wrong with the world. We mostly all recognize we belong to Allah, we return to Allah. We've got the Arkanul Iman sittatun down. We've got the Arkanul Islam khamsatun down. Like we understand the basic story. The real struggle is actually, where is the heart at? Because where the heart is at, the conversation will be there. Where the heart is at, time will be there. Because where the heart is at, money will be there. That's why people are trying to steal your heart. Because if they take your heart, they take your wallet. If they take your heart, they take your wallet. And that's why they want your heart. Because if they can have your heart, and you can say, that thing is beloved to me, that person is beloved to me, you're willing to give and give and give of yourself for it. And so the qalb is what is central to us, is where your heart is at. And if you want to assess where your heart is at, think about what you think about a lot. And think about what you talk about a lot. Because the thing that you talk about a lot is that thing which you love a lot. I'm not saying you can't have hobbies, that's okay. You know, moderate hobbies are okay, and we talk about our that's not a problem, that's like normal. People have their own interests and their own professions, and those are fine. But if it becomes all consuming, it becomes problematic. If it becomes all totally emotional, it becomes problematic. And so the right of Allah Ta'ala is that He should own our heart and our mind. And the right of Allah is that He should own our heart. He created us, He takes care of us in every moment. We belong to Him, we're going to return to Him. He is more needed than the air we breathe and the food that we eat. And His right is that He should be loved. And one thing I'm going to challenge you when you do the Quran is just look in the Quran how much of the Quran is about emotion. Not about rules, do, don't, obedience. A lot of the Quran is about emotion, about love. Now, Allah says, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. And those that believe, they already affirm the truth. Allah's not talking about that. Allah is saying about them, أَشَدُّ حُبًّا. They are most severe in love to Allah. Am I correct? No. Okay. And so this is, and I'm not saying it's an easy journey. Why? Because you've been flooded by a picture machine planting pictures in your mind. Over and over and over, and shaping what you want, and shaping what you desire, and shaping what you're working for, and shaping what you're aiming for. It's been shaping you for years in every moment. The average screen time in South Africa, I believe, is 9 hours and 45 minutes per day. It's about 9 hours and 45 minutes. Average. Not the upper extreme. The average. You know what average means? Average means that's on average. 9 hours, it's one of the highest in the world. 9 hours and 45 minutes, round about there. 9 hours, 45 minutes, planting all the time. And it's shaping who we are and what we want. And so in Ramadan now, what you have is you have a time, because the Prophet ﷺ, he pointed to his heart and he said, At-taqwa hahuna, at-taqwa hahuna, at-taqwa hahuna. He pointed to his heart and he says, Taqwa is in my heart, Taqwa is in my heart, Taqwa is in my heart. It's not just something you think. It's something that your heart, like all of us sometimes struggle. We struggle, maybe the adhan for Fajr goes on and you're tired and you're sleepy. What does your mind tell you? Your mind tells you, the adhan is going, I must wake up. But whether you wake up or not, it depends on the state of your heart. Does your heart deem it a priority or not? If you see something attractive that you shouldn't look at, what does your mind tell you? I must lower my gaze. But if your heart is not in a tune, it depends what your heart is at. It's not the mind, because the mind knows right from wrong. If you're basically a born Muslim, you went to madrasa, you come from a basic Muslim family, you have most of the fiqh you need for life. You with me? Most of you have most of the fiqh, you know how to make tahara, wudu, salah, maybe a few tweaks here and there, but you have the basics. It's not like you need like revelation now to know. You know it already. You know all the arkan, you know already. The problem is not the knowing, the problem is where the heart is at. Is the heart in the right space? And it's a battle for the heart. And so in Ramadan, what we do is that we try to deprive ourselves from outside shapers. Deprive ourselves. In fact, Ghazali, he mentions 3 levels of fasting. He says that the first level of fasting is the sawmul umum, the sawm of the average person, of the ordinary person. What does the ordinary person do? What do? They just refrain from food, drink, and intimacy from dawn until sunset, and that is the average fast. But then he says, no, there's a level higher, there's a Sawm, a fasting called the Sawmul Khusus, the Sawm of the elect, of the special people. And what do they fast with? They fast with their senses. They fast with their eyes to not look at that which their eyes should not look at. They fast with their tongue to not say that which their tongue shouldn't say. They fast with their ears to not hear that which they shouldn't hear. They fast with their hands to not do that which they shouldn't do. They fast with their feet to not go to those places they shouldn't go. And in their minds, if they look at something that they shouldn't look at, it's almost as if they've broken their fast. Not in a fixed sense, in a spiritual sense. And then he says even one level higher, Sawmu Khususil Khusus, the fasting of the elect of the elect. You know, you get the elect, then you get the elect of the elect. What do they fast with? Sawmul Qalb. They fast with their heart. And their heart is only attached to Allah Ta'ala, and it refrains from the dunya. And if their heart turns towards the dunya, it's as if they've broken their fast. Imagine that fasting. Imagine that fasting. That is the elect of the elect. Perhaps we can't do that all the time, but we must do it some of the time. A part of our fasting day must be a fasting of the heart. And the heart fasts from the dunya and the worldly attachments and the wealth and the people and the sports teams and the couches and the Eid preparations and the Eid recipes and the clothing and all of that. And our heart fasts from all of that and only is attached to Allah Ta'ala, and that connected to Allah Ta'ala. This is the true fasting. Why? Because the fasting is there to instill love. It is there to instill love. And so Allah gives us everything in this month to do it. What does He do? He tells Shaitan, I'm locking you up. Stop whispering to these people and give them a chance. He tells the nafs, take a break. I'm tying you down. And then He also puts on us, read your Quran, stand in Taraweeh, do acts of love. Isolate yourself from the dunya. Don't get into arguments. Inni sa'imun. All the time. And then you come to the end, the climax. Cut yourself off more, come to the masjid, stay in the masjid 10 days, 2 days, 3 days, 5 hours. Come and cut yourself off more, physically come stay in the masjid. Cut yourself off. Why? Because Allah Ta'ala says, As-sawmu li. Fasting is for me. Wa ana ajzi bi. And I will give the reward. And Allah wants to take our hearts in the month. And for us it's very possible. Very possible. If you just embrace the system, don't have a grudging fast. Don't I can't wait till this be done. It's so hot, it's so long, I'm so hungry. No, have the hunger with joy, and the tiredness with joy, and the heat with joy, and do it like a joyful slave. And inshallah ta'ala your heart will be moved. And so this is Allah's system that Allah employs, and you and I have to battle for our hearts. No one else can battle for that. You and I, each of us have to battle for our hearts, and if our heart is addicted to something else, we have to make jihad on ourselves, with ourselves. We have to fight, we have to exert ourselves to bring our hearts away from that thing and towards Allah Ta'ala. Because it's our heart, and we try to have a qalbun salim, a qalb which is sound and whole and intact and soft for Allah's remembrance, inshaAllah ta'ala. And so in this Ramadan also you should shed tears in your du'as, and you should feel a sense of desperation before Allah ta'ala in your du'as, and you should have a sense of fear for the state that you are in, and you should have a sense of deep hope for Allah's rahmah. We should turn ourselves intensely, because you can achieve in this month what you can't achieve in other months. You can achieve spiritually in this month what you can't achieve in other months. Experientially, we see that. And so embrace it fully. It's only a few days left. Prepare yourselves, prepare your time, prepare your habits, prepare your spaces also, your home spaces, your prayer spaces, prepare your family routines. Inshallah, don't get distracted by the socials. I generally don't socialize a lot in Ramadan. I don't find it to be that healthy, because you can come eat by meal here, because now you have a lot of socials, and then you don't make tarawih, and then you overeat, and then you laugh the whole night, and then like it's not the spirit for me. Yes, you can have some family time, but the family time mustn't become a distraction from the main purpose. And so I think like we must get focused on the main purpose. The main purpose is not the Instagram pictures of our buka table. Really, that's not the. We've lost ourselves if that is not what we're doing now. We're having Instagram bukas. I mean, really, I mean, why are we doing that? And now our homes also is going to be just put up my Ramadan celebration. I'm also on Instagram, that also. Like, it's all dunya. It's all dunya. Prepare yourself for the year after, and we do something, do it privately. Do it privately, you and your family. Bismillah, do what you want to. Don't show the world. No. So prepare ourselves, inshallah, for this month. That's a blessed guest, and the guest that we need now. Allah bless, barakallah. We'll see you in the midst of Ramadan next week, inshallah. وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.